The world is in perma-crisis right now in so many places, and the weaponisation of Scripture is a major factor in all of that. If you grieve, as I do, at the way that so many people are being harmed by that weaponisation or threatened by it right now, then here is something really practical that you can do. Hello, I'm Helen Painter. I'm the founding director of the Centre for the Study of Bible and Violence. And I want to talk to you today briefly about some of the things we do and some of the ways that you might be able to help us. I set up the CSBV at the end of 2018 and we held our first events the following year. At that point, it was basically just me working a few hours a week here at the Bristol Baptist College. Since then, we've grown to become an international network with collaborators, students and partners on every continent of the world. I'm immensely proud of what we've achieved in that time. The CSBV works in two main areas. The first one is seeking to understand the violence within Scripture. For example, this little book, which I wrote a few years ago, to try and help people in the churches grapple with Old Testament violence that they find troubling. The second area is seeking to understand and resist the weaponisation of God's good book for harmful purposes. So let me tell you about some of the things that we've done. We've had 2 podcasts. They're both paused at the moment, but we'd love to pick them up again. We've run many webinars and at least one conference every year. We undertake many speaking engagements, both in person and online. There are a few particularly significant projects that we've been leading that I'd love to tell you about. Here's a tragic fact. In the United Kingdom, a woman is killed by a current or previous intimate partner every 4 days.
Bruises are hidden, they're tucked away, it's where people won't see, and so the whole thing goes undercover.
We've had a large project on the weaponisation of Scripture in domestic abuse. This has resulted in this book and a series of study videos alongside it, and many opportunities in the UK and beyond to address audiences and speak directly with survivors of domestic abuse. I cannot tell you how many emails I've received in relation to this project. Emails from women who've experienced sometimes appalling abuse within their marriages. Women who have, through this work, come to understand that God is on their side, that God is not on the side of their abusive husband, that God isn't frowning to them out of heaven, telling them that they've made their bed and they have to lie in it. Women have come to freedom because of this work, and we really believe that this matters. A project that has been very impactful is our work around the employment of Scripture and theological language by right-wing extremists in the UK and beyond. This has resulted so far in one book. At the end of this book, called The Church, the Far Right and the Claim to Christianity, I offer 10 recommendations to the British Church about ways that we might respond to the challenge that is being presented by far-right groups who are using Christian-sounding language. I've had the opportunity to discuss this in the Senedd on Radio 4, at Lambeth Palace and at a consultation in the House of Lords. The project is continuing as the contemporary situation is moving very fast. Coming out very shortly, in fact it might already be out by the time you see this video, we're producing a pastoral toolkit for busy church leaders who want to be able to make a small difference that matters in their own local contexts. And we're just finishing a proposal to put together a book of significant theological essays looking at the weighty issues which this challenging time presents to us. The CSBV is a Christian ecumenical organisation, but we collaborate joyfully with people of all faiths and none. For example, just last week I was at the London Central Mosque at a meeting of the Christian Muslim Forum where we gathered together to think about some of the challenges we are facing in the political climate in these days. Speaking in all humility, but I think we have quite a big footprint for a small organisation, and actually sometimes I think we look larger and better funded than we are. I get emails from people fairly regularly saying, can I come and visit the Centre for the Study of Bible and Violence? And I reply saying, well, you can come and visit me and my bookshelves, but we're an international network. There's not really much that's concrete to see. We have no full-time staff. I work full-time here at the Bristol Baptist College, but my role here is primarily teaching, formation of ministerial students and looking after our academic programmes. My CSBV work has to fit into the cracks of my week, and the majority of it is done in my own time. My wonderful colleague Ashley Hibbard, who's based in Canada, she's now the co-director of the centre. We employ her for just 3 hours a week, and frankly it's insulting because she works far, far more than that. To be perfectly honest, this is unsustainable for us both and for the viability of the centre. I feel like we're at an existential moment right now. We cannot continue at our current rate of output with the funding that we have. We're looking to raise £100,000 a year for 3 consecutive years. We believe that that would enable us to get on a sustainable footing. Now maybe there's a potential donor out there with that sort of money in your pocket, and if so, God bless you, please get in touch. More likely, you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't have £100,000 a year, but I could give £5, £10 a month. A lump sum donation is wonderful and we would be hugely grateful for that. A budgeted donation is even more useful because it might enable us to get matched funding. We believe that the work we are doing is absolutely vital. It would be such a blessing to us if you would prayerfully consider supporting us in this way so that we can continue to do this urgent and pressing work.